What is going on, YouTube? Nexus TV back again with another video. I know it's been a few weeks since my last video, but uh past few weeks, been pretty busy for me. Like the whole month of October has been pretty busy for me, and it's going to continue to be busy. But toward the end of October, it'll be less busy, like the final like week or two of it. But that's part of why I haven't really been making videos that much. But I did have an idea for this video. So this video is about the three characters. Well, I was originally going to include five, but three probably works best for this. But it's three characters that I want to see in the MCU at some point. So you guys might recognize a few of these characters, like 'cause there's three. You might recognize two out of three of them. The third one you might not really know that well, or technically the second one if we're going in order. But I'll explain it. I'll explain the story. So first up is Nova, and the reason why I feel like Nova would be a good character to add into the MCU is because of the fact that we know like the MCU is kind of getting into the whole phase where it's kind of like space, and then it's really kind of it's phase 5. I think is going to build on the whole split into three parts. It's going to be like I think the street level stuff or something like that, and then the space stuff and the multiverse stuff. I feel like Nova could come in during the space stuff. I'm guessing Nova probably won't be phase 5. He'll probably be like phase 6. But if we do get him at some point, I feel like it's gonna be good when we see him, because who knows, like the Avengers might need his help, like the Avengers, Force 25, whoever, they're gonna need his help probably. And I don't think he was ever actually part of the Avengers. I think he had his own team that he was with. It wasn't the Nova Corps, because as it says in his backstory, he was randomly chosen to become a member of the Nova Corps until the Annihilation Wave destroyed them all, and pretty much their power of the wiped out Nova Corps, it converged onto him, and he became Nova Prime pretty much, and he became like he started going on like a solo mission to like get justice for the people he lost as Nova. So Nova has a pretty cool backstory in my opinion, pretty nice backstory. One thing about Nova is the fact that like I don't really know who could play him. And I don't know what a movie of his would look like. I don't know if he'd have a movie or if he'd have a show. I didn't really know about Nova up until I was like 8, I think, or 7 or 8, because Nova was, I think, on that Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon that had White Tiger on it. I think it was Ultimate Spider-Man, I'm pretty sure. It had Spider-Man, White Tiger, I think Luke Cage. I remember seeing Cloak a couple times on there too, so that was when I found out about who Nova was. Like I said, cool character. Okay, so the next person is the Sentry, and the thing is that you guys might not know who the Sentry is. I don't blame you if you don't know who Sentry is, though, because, like, unless you're really into the comics, you've probably never really seen him like that, because Marvel doesn't use Sentry that much. But I'm gonna say this: he's pretty much Marvel's Superman. The thing about Sentry is that he doesn't really have any sort of weakness. Normally, I don't really like characters that are just really, really overpowered, no weakness at all, because I just feel like there's no struggle for them. I'm not saying I'm a huge fan of Sentry, because, like I said, I don't really know a whole bunch about Sentry, but I do know he's very powerful. And I know that, the Avengers might need his help at some point, especially if we're going up against Galactus at some point. We're going to need Sentry. I would say we need him now, because Kang is pretty powerful. Kang is like insanely powerful, and what's worse is that why do they give Scott Kang? Why do they give Ant-Man Kang? That's so messed up. Like, anyway, I know people have seen the trailer. Do not spoil the trailer for me, please. I've already seen the screenshot. Don't tell me anything else about it. But the Sentry, his backstory is that he was empowered by the enigmatic professor's secret formula. He was a high school student. His name was Robert Reynolds, and he became a superhuman. And he ended up beating down the school bully, who who had tormented him, and then he sewed together the Sentry costume and became the Sentry. Now the Sentry was with the Dark Avengers, so the Dark Avengers included Norman Osborn. It also included, yeah, it was Norman Osborn. I think whoever was supposed to be Hawkeye. It was, I think, I forgot who was Hawkeye. I forgot who played Hawkeye, but I know Norman Osborn was Iron Patriot, and then I'm thinking there was some version of Hawkeye on the Dark Avengers who I don't know the name of. I feel like, and I don't want to say this because I remember like the villain or one of the villains in the Daredevil Netflix series was named Bullseye, but I feel like the version of Hawkeye on the Dark Avengers was Bullseye. That was his name, and it wasn't Clinton Barton. It was somebody else, but I know it wasn't Hawkeye. And then you had the Sentry, who was also a part of the Dark Avengers, and I know there were like other people, but it was just the Sentry, who, well, he was like the most powerful on the Dark Avengers, of course. But like I said, that's just because of like his power level. And of course, I'd know they'd have to nerf him for it to make sense with the MCU, because I know in the comics, when you look at how the scaling is in the comics, power scaling is, I'm not going to call it bad because it's comics, it makes sense, but it's kind of lopsided sometimes. So yeah, they'll have to nerf Sentry probably. But they did the same thing with Thor. And I know that Sentry isn't Thor, but if you look at how powerful Thor is in the comics, you'll see how much they nerfed him in the MCU, which I'm not complaining about. Because personally, I'd rather see a strong character but with a few weaknesses in the MCU than a strong character with literally zero weaknesses at all. Like that, for me, that kind of just ruins it. Not ruins it, but I don't know. You get it. You guys get my point. So the next character is Agent Venom, and I'm pretty sure you guys know who Agent Venom is. We've seen him multiple times. We've seen him in the cartoons. There's even action figures of him. Like I remember in 2016, I got an action figure of Agent Venom. It had like his weapons and all that, but I lost the accessories, so now it's just him by himself. But um one thing about Agent Venom that I think would be cool to see, I don't really know how they'll introduce him into the MCU, but I don't even know if we'll even really get him in the MCU, but I do hope we will. His backstory is pretty interesting. He graduated and then joined the United States Army, but he ends up becoming haunted by what he saw during combat, and it led to alcoholism. And then after losing both of his legs in the war, when he was trying to, I think, defend a fellow soldier from an attack, he got the Venom symbiote, and the symbiote ended up helping him get his legs back. And because of that, he became the superhero known as Agent Venom. And the thing about it is that for a while I didn't get why Agent Venom is a hero, but Venom normally isn't, until I realized that the symbiote acts on who's controlling it. That's why Venom is kind of a hero, I guess you want to call him, in his movies, because of the fact that Eddie Brock has like a positive mindset. If you have a negative mindset, that's why you don't want to give the freaking Venom symbiote to somebody like for example, you don't want to give it to somebody like Electro. Don't give it to him. I feel like I could have found like a way better example for that, but for some reason Electro just popped up in my head and I was just like, okay, whatever. But thank you guys for watching. There probably will be a part 2 to this because there are quite a few characters that I want to see make an appearance in the MCU at some point. But anyway, like I said, thank you for watching. Next TV out. Have a good day or night wherever you are.